Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We're looking at our favorite video of the day, the player props for today on this big Thursday night slate. We are going to be taking a break in the NBA tomorrow for that Christmas Eve until we get to those Christmas Day games. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page, though. We're going to have another video up for you tomorrow, a bunch of videos up for you tomorrow, rather, for those Saturday games. Here in this one, we're going to be looking, like I said, at some player props. Make sure you do like and subscribe to the page. Check out the other videos we have up for you today. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for these player props for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, once again, I am leading with LeBron because Josh wants to talk about the Lakers covering a spread or winning, and I am not comfortable with that. But I am comfortable with LeBron getting his points because he has been trying to carry this team with limited success all December, averaging 27 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and 6.2 assists with a 119 offensive rating in those 9 games. And now he goes up against a Spurs team that I think it's kind of a personal match for him, where he thinks he's matching wits with Greg Popovich and has been getting the better of him on the court. I mean, obviously they had that rivalry in the finals for a few years. He has at least 26 points in 11 of his last 12 against the Spurs in the regular season, averages 31.2, averaging nearly 10 assists and over 8 rebounds on 50-40 splits. And he's playing 37 minutes per game with a 34% usage rate in those games. His usage rate is up around 33% in his last 5 without Anthony Davis, scoring 33 points per game, and his rebounds up to 8.5 there. So I would like combining it with the rebounds here. 27.5 points is still the number for LeBron, despite the fact that, he went off for 17 in the first quarter against those Suns in his last time out. And the rebounds, if you just bet it straight at 7.5, you're not getting great odds, but you could just combine that and get 35.5 points in rebounds for better odds. Gives you a little wiggle room there against a Spurs team that's playing at the second fastest pace on the road over the last 2 weeks and allowing the third most paint points in that span. I mean, they have nobody to deal with LeBron, and the Lakers have nobody else to really turn to right now with their team a mess and COVID protocols, and to just looking at their leader to try to carry them through to some wins.
Yeah, he's holding on at this point, is LeBron, to what he was hoping would be some twilight years with a bunch of help from a bunch of other guys that he's not getting. So you feel good about that. I initially would have thought, before these last 2 weeks, Spurs on the road, slow pace, not very good either. Maybe the Lakers are able to eke this win out. To be clear, what you were saying at the beginning, I wanted to talk about this one because I think the Spurs win, and I think you get a little bit of juice on their money line. But either way, even if the Spurs do win, the only player out there that you trust to get his for the Lakers right now is LeBron. And so, yeah, that's why I would feel good about his points and rebounds combined, especially. Love to be able to get that with a little bit better odds there on FanDuel. I get to talk about a guy I didn't know if I was going to be able to talk about again this season, Kemba Walker, back in the lineup for the Knicks with a terror. Derrick Rose out is probably the impetus for why he's back. And now Derrick Rose, we know, is out for a while this season. So we're going to see some more Kemba. And since he's been back, last 2 games that he's played, he's put up 77 minutes and dropped 50 points in that time frame. He's had 12 free throw attempts as well, which is nice to see that he's getting into the lane and getting back to the basket like he was in Charlotte. And his usage rate is back up to about 28% for the team, as there's nobody else that you can really claim is playing better than him on offense anyway, such as Alec Burks or Evan Fournier, who are all just they've all just dropped entirely since that first couple of games after Kemba went out of the lineup. Now that he's back in, you feel good about the fact that they're playing Washington, who's also come crashing back to earth in terms of being a bad defensive team where they started as a good one this season. And in Kemba's last 4 versus the Wiz, he's averaging 25 a game with 6 boards and 4 assists. Also a nice 28.5% usage rate there. So yeah, I think, like I said, Washington bad on defense right now. In their last 10 road games, especially, they have the 24th ranked defensive rating, giving up 115 points per 100 possessions. So I think this is another ripe opportunity for Kemba to keep his streak going and show that he belongs in this lineup, at least on offense, and so for his point points. I do think he'll be putting those up plenty. So 19.5 for him gets you about minus 118 on your money. That's where I would lean. If you want to throw the assists in there, you can get 24.5 points and assists combined. But I like Kemba to score tonight, and I like him to keep putting those shots up with that high usage rate more than anything else.
Yeah, the free throw attempts is what's key to me, because Washington sells out to guard the 3-point line and then gives up the highest percentage of points off free throws on the road, where they have a 115 defensive rating their last 10 road games. I think Kemba will be able to blow by some guys tonight. The key is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is out in protocol, so it'll be Kemba on Spencer Dinwiddie, mostly, who's a solid defender, but I don't think he's going to be denying his penetration. And the minutes, I mean, just follow the minutes. The Knicks have no Derrick Rose, no RJ Barrett, no Emmanuel Quickley, not even a Miles McBride to come off the bench and relieve Kemba. He played 40 minutes in his last game, and they're just like, well, you've been sitting for a while. Let's see what you can do. And he's certainly motivated to show that he's still a player in this league. Great to see him come back strong in 2 games so far.
Definitely.
Another favorite here on the player props section is Mr. Josh Hart, single-handedly turning around the Pelicans season with a 4-1 record over their last 5. And in that span, he has a 121.9 offensive rating and a 105 defensive rating, just killing other teams on both ends, averaging nearly 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game. To the point that how can the Pelicans not give him minutes? He played 41 and 42 minutes his last 2 games. And as we mentioned 2 days ago, when he gets 36 minutes throughout his career, he's basically going to get you 21 combined points and rebounds. His prop is up to 22.5 points and rebounds because of his recent success, double-double in 3 of his last 5 games. You can get a plus 285 for him to get that double-double in a win over a Magic team that, I mean, beat the shorthanded Hawks last night, but now he's on a back-to-back, misses a ton of shots, and is probably not going to win this game. So, the Mavs give up the 6th most defensive rebounds, the 2nd most assists, and Hart has a defensive rebounding rate of 21%, which is something he's hit in 3 straight seasons, not like it's a fluke this year. So I would look at the points and rebounds. I would also just look again his peripheral stats at 13.5 rebounds, assists, because I think he will approach 10 boards today and probably get a few dimes to complement that.
Yeah, for sure. I have to say, it was really funny last night when the Hawks lost to the Magic. If you were the in-game arena screen for the for the Magic, where they're showing all 5 guys on the big board and have pictures of them next to what their stats are in game, they didn't have player pictures for the 5 guys playing for the Magic, or for the Magic at one point, and they still beat the Hawks. So we'll see if Josh Hart can get his against a team that doesn't even have players with profile pictures right now for those Orlando Magic. I do like his points and rebounds there as well. He had a bunch of points last game. I think you keep getting those as well. If he's going to be playing that many minutes, he's also going to get plenty more shots up for a team that definitely needs that change in identity that he's bringing. So I love the Josh Hart one tonight again. And then one more that I also really love is Max Strus, who is not someone that maybe you have heard of too much of yet, but you should get to know him a bit on the Heat there. He's playing a ton of minutes right now for the Heat, who are obviously low on players big time. And so, looking at his points right now, 14.5 for him at FanDuel. You look at what he's done in his last 3 games, you might as well call him Max Wardell Strus. I mean, he's averaging 5.3 3-pointers made on 11.3 attempts. There's only other one person in the league who ever does that, and that's Steph Curry in terms of averaging that many 3-point attempts a game even. And his splits are crazy right now, 24.5 points in those last 3 games. He's actually got 6 boards in that time as well, a game, shooting 54, 47, 72 splits with a usage rate that's just jumped up from about 15% when guys like Jimmy Butler and company were getting minutes to those last 3 games shooting a usage rate of 22%. So, I think you feel good about Max getting 14.5 points here. The 4.5 rebounds also feels low if you want to add that. But if you want to look at, Miami winning tonight in a game that, I think they should win. They're a much different team than they've been, obviously, so it's hard, but they're playing the Pistons, and they do have a 10.5 point spread there. So if you want to maybe throw get a little bit more juice on there in those FanDuel player performance doubles, 4 3-pointers made for Max Strus tonight and a win gets you plus 230. I just told you he's averaging 5 on 11 attempts in his last 3 games. So 4 feels pretty good. And that win for Miami also feels pretty easy. So you get that juice all the way up to plus 230 and get rid of that, 10-point spread that you would need normally for Miami.
Yeah, we haven't seen any Tyler Hero props up yet. He came back on Tuesday and the team dropped 125. He had 26 points, but Strus still, going well over 14.5 points with Hero out there. And his usage rate's going to be higher if Hero decides, the Pistons aren't worth his time necessarily. Definitely plenty of rest for Miami's key guys. Jimmy Butler, it seems, kind of just coaching from the bench as he rests his sore tailbones, just saying, I'll just wait for Bam Adebayo to get back. Let's see what these other guys can do in my absence. And yes, you mentioned it. The key is they're playing the Pistons. So there are going to be plenty of rebounds to be had, plenty of easy buckets to be gotten against a team that is really tied with the Magic for the worst team in basketball.
Yeah, agreed there. So plenty to like with all these player props. Remember to like and subscribe to that page. We will be back tomorrow with a bunch of videos for Saturday's games. And until we see you next, happy betting.